The galaxy watched the broadcast in silence. It was not a show, not a warning, but a message of cruelty. 10 million humans stood inside giant containment fields on a distant moon, their faces filled with fear and anger. Above them floated the Dravik Emperor, a tall alien with cold silver eyes. He raised his hand, and every camera drone focused on him. "This is the price of defiance," he said, his voice echoing through every star system. Earth saw everything live. Every human saw their own people standing helpless under alien control. The Dravak had ruled many planets before, and they always used fear to break the spirit of their enemies. But this time, they miscalculated. Humans were watching, and something inside them was changing. Not fear, not surrender, but something far more dangerous. Among the millions trapped, one man stood still. His name was Aaron Hale, a former engineer from Earth. He was not a soldier, not a hero, but he had survived the fall of 3 colonies. He had seen what the Dravik truly were. He whispered to the others around him, "Keep your eyes open. Do not give them what they want." But it was too late. The Emperor raised his hand again, and the sky above them opened. A giant energy beam formed, humming with deadly light. The broadcast zoomed in on the terrified faces below. The Dravok fed on fear, and they wanted the entire galaxy to witness human weakness. The energy beam fell, bright and merciless. Screams echoed, but the sound was swallowed by the light. 10 million humans vanished in seconds, erased live across every screen in the galaxy. Earth froze. Not a single human spoke for a full minute. Children cried, soldiers clenched their fists, and leaders struggled to breathe. Humanity had never seen such cruelty before, but the Dravak made one fatal mistake. They believed the broadcast would break humans. Instead, it lit a fire, far away on a hidden Earth military station. Captain Mara Lin watched the broadcast with shaking hands. She had fought the Dravok before, but she had never seen them kill so openly. She whispered, "You monsters, you think we will bow?" But inside her eyes, a different light was burning. She turned to her officers and said, "Prepare the message for global broadcast." Meanwhile, in another corner of space, Dravik war generals celebrated. To kill 10 million in front of their own world. One of them laughed. "Humans will break completely now." But deep in the shadows of the broadcast room, a young Dravik technician felt something strange. Humans were unpredictable. They did not react like other species. They did not submit. They evolved under pressure. He feared what would come next. Back on Earth, Captain Mara's message went live. Every human saw her face appear on their screens. Her voice was calm, but it carried the weight of 10 million lost lives. "They think we are weak," she said. "They think fear will break us." She stared straight into the camera. "But they have made the biggest mistake in the history of our species." Silence spread through Earth. Mara continued, "We will not run, we will not hide, and we will not forgive." Her voice grew stronger. "Today, they killed 10 million of our people, but tomorrow humanity will rise, far away." On the ruined moon where the massacre happened, something unexpected stirred beneath the ashes. A faint pulse of energy, a movement, a spark of life. Aaron Hale was not dead, and neither was the secret he carried, a secret that could decide the fate of both species. The real war had just begun. Ash floated slowly across the broken moon, where 10 million humans had been destroyed. Everything was silent, but under the grey surface, something moved. A hand pushed through the rubble, shaking and covered in dust. It was Aaron Hale, alive when he should have been dead. He gasped for air, his body weak, but his mind burning with one thought. "They think we are gone," he whispered, "but I am still here." Above him, the sky was dark. The enemy ships gone. Only the cold stars watched him rise from the ruins. He looked around at the empty land and felt the weight of 10 million lives. He had seen them fall. He had felt the blasts tear through the field. Yet something strange had happened. A shield of invisible energy had wrapped around him at the last second. He did not know why. He did not know how. But he knew it was not human technology. Deep beneath the moon's surface, he saw a faint blue glow, pulsing like a heartbeat. The ground trembled, and a narrow path opened, as if inviting him inside. Aaron stared at it, afraid, but curious. He stepped forward, because he had nothing left to lose. The tunnel led him into an ancient chamber. Walls covered in symbols no human language could explain. At the center rested a large crystal structure, glowing with cold blue fire. When Aaron approached, the crystal responded. Light wrapped around him like warm water. Memories and images flashed in his mind, creatures he had never seen. battles older than Earth, and a terrible warning. The Dravik awakened us once, a voice whispered inside his head. And now you carry our last spark. Eren fell to his knees, overwhelmed. What are you? He asked. We are the Verith, the voice said. The first species the Dravik tried to wipe out. Eren felt a chill. So, you want revenge? He said. No, the voice replied. We want balance. But the Dravik destroyed our bodies. Only our memory remains. And now you hold it. At that moment, Eren understood. He was no longer just a survivor. He was holding the final weapon of an extinct species. A weapon that could turn the tide of war, but only if he made it to Earth. Meanwhile, far across the galaxy, the Dravik Emperor celebrated his victory. He stood on his throne ship, looking down at his generals. 10 million humans erased in one strike, he said proudly. Now Earth will kneel. But a trembling technician stepped forward, unable to stay silent. My Emperor, he said. There is a problem. The Emperor's silver eyes narrowed. What problem? He asked. The technician swallowed hard. A life sign appeared on the moon for a moment, then disappeared again. The generals laughed. Impossible. One said, nothing survives the cleansing beam. But the Emperor did not laugh. He knew humans were dangerous. He knew their history. If even one survived, the future could shift. Back on Earth, Captain Mara Lin prepared humanity for war. Every city was building emergency shelters. Every shipyard worked without rest. The broadcast of the massacre had united Earth like never before. People who once argued now stood together. Humanity will not die quietly, Mara declared. But she still had no idea Eren was alive. No idea a lost alien weapon was awakening. A secret Dravok spy on Earth watched the preparations with growing fear. Humans were not breaking. They were sharpening. He sent a quick message to the Emperor. Their spirit is changing, he warned. This is not what we expected. The Emperor frowned. Maybe killing 10 million had not weakened humans. Maybe it had created something new, something dangerous, something unstoppable, far away on the moon. Eren placed his hand on the glowing crystal. The chamber filled with blue fire. A new power entered his body. A new purpose filled his heart. He whispered, for the ones they killed. I will not stop. And the galaxy trembled as the Verith flame awakened inside him. The real war was coming, and humanity was no longer fighting alone. Eren Hale stood at the entrance of the ancient chamber, blue light from the Verith crystals still glowing on his skin. His body felt different now, stronger, faster, and strangely calm. The voices of the Verith whispered inside his mind, guiding him. Leave this moon, they said. Your world needs you. Eren looked up at the dark sky. No human ship would come, not after the broadcast of the massacre. Earth believed everyone on this moon was dead, but Eren was not dead, and he refused to stay silent while the Dravik prepared their next strike. He found an old Dravik outpost near the crater, destroyed during the blast but not completely gone. Inside, he discovered a small scout ship, cracked but repairable. He touched the control panel. The Verith energy inside him pulsed, and the ship powered on instantly, as if obeying him. Eren smiled for the first time since the tragedy. Good, he whispered. I am coming home. But he did not know that the Dravok were already searching for him. Far across the stars, the Emperor watched a hologram of the moon. A single blinking dot showed life readings near the blast zone. Find that survivor, he ordered. Alive or dead, it does not matter. His generals bowed, but the Emperor's eyes stayed cold. He knew humans were dangerous when they were broken. They were unstoppable when they were angry. A Dravik hunter fleet launched toward the moon, silent, fast, and armed with capture nets that could bind even star beasts. At their head flew Commander Vorsk, a ruthless warrior who believed humans were weak animals. He sharpened his claws and smiled. One human cannot escape me, he said confidently. Meanwhile, on Earth, Captain Mara Lin met with the Global Defense Council. She stood in front of a massive screen showing star maps and Dravik fleets. We must prepare for a full invasion, she said. The massacre was only the beginning, but deep inside, she felt the same strange pull she had felt during the broadcast, as if one of the survivors was calling out through the void. She shook off the feeling. There is no one left alive, she reminded herself. Still, the thought did not leave her heart. Back on the moon, Eren activated the scout ship and lifted off. The engines roared, sending dust flying into the air. But before he could escape orbit, a red alarm flashed. Dravik ships were approaching fast. The Verith voice whispered a warning. You are not ready to fight them. Eren tightened his grip on the controls. I don't need to fight, he muttered. I just need to survive. The first Dravik hunter ship fired a net of glowing energy. Eren dodged it, but the ship shook violently. He spun around the crater, engines struggling. Another net shot toward him. This time he reacted without thinking. His hand glowed blue. The energy burst from his palm and hit the net, shattering it like glass. Even Eren froze, shocked by what he had done. What was that? He asked. The Verith replied calmly. Your new form is evolving. Commander Vorsk watched from his ship. Furious, no human can break our nets, he growled. Catch him. Eren raced toward open space. 3 hunter ships chased him, their engines burning bright. The scout ship was fast, but not fast enough. The Verith energy inside him pulsed again. Let us help, the voice said. Eren placed both hands on the controls. Blue fire spread into the ship's engines. The scout ship burst forward with impossible speed. He shot past the hunters and disappeared into the stars. Commander Vorsk slammed his fist against the controls. That human is not normal, he growled. He carries something alien. The Emperor received the report and felt a cold fear grow in his chest. A survivor with unknown power, he whispered. Find him before he reaches Earth. But Eren was already racing toward home, toward humanity, toward the war that was waiting for him. He whispered, Mara, Earth, I am coming back. The stars blurred around him as he vanished into hyperspace, and the hunt began. Eren Hale's stolen scout ship shot out of hyperspace near Earth's orbit. The planet looked peaceful from a distance, blue, bright, and alive. But Eren knew peace was only on the surface. Inside its cities, humans were preparing for a war they could not avoid. Eren's hands trembled on the controls. He did not know how Earth would react when they saw him alive. He also feared the power inside him. The Verith energy hummed through his bones like a living flame. Stay calm, the voice whispered. Your world will need this strength. As the ship approached Earth's defense perimeter, alarms activated. Dozens of human fighters surrounded him, their weapons locked on the unknown vessel. This is Earth defense, a strict voice commanded. Identify yourself. Eren took a deep breath and opened the channel. This is Eren Hale, he said. I survived the moon massacre. Silence filled the radio. Then loud shouting, disbelief, shock, impossible. Another officer said, no one survived that attack. Eren responded quietly, I did, and I bring a warning. The fighters escorted him to the main orbital station. Inside, soldiers stared at him as if he were a ghost. Eren felt their eyes, their confusion, their fear, but he walked with purpose. He was not the man they once knew. Captain Mara Lin waited in the command chamber. The moment Eren stepped in, she froze, her breath caught, her eyes widened. She whispered, Eren, you were supposed to be dead. He looked back at her, tired but alive. I know, he said softly, but I didn't die. Mara walked closer, studying his face. There was something different in his eyes, something glowing, a silent storm hiding under calm skin. What happened to you? She asked. Eren hesitated, but he knew he had to tell her everything. He explained the chamber under the moon, the Verith species, their memories, their last power, the crystal that had chosen him. Mara listened, disbelief fighting with fear. You're saying an extinct alien species put their power inside you? She asked. Eren nodded. Yes, and the Dravik know I survived. Mara turned sharply toward her officers. Prepare a sealed report, she ordered. No information leaves this room, but she already knew the truth. If the Dravik were hunting Eren, they would come in full force. Meanwhile, deep in space, the Dravik Emperor watched Eren's landing through stolen satellite feeds. He slammed his claws on his throne. Earth has the survivor, he growled. We must attack before they learn to use him. Commander Vorsk stepped forward, eager for war. Give me the fleet, he said. I will crush Earth myself. The Emperor nodded slowly. Destroy the human world, and bring me Hale's body back on Earth. Eren stood before the council, generals, scientists, leaders all staring with fear and curiosity. He told them about the Verith, their history, their warning, and the weapon inside him that was still growing. Some leaders were terrified. Is he dangerous? One asked. Mara answered firmly, he is human, and he is on our side. But Eren felt something shift inside him. A sudden pulse of blue light spread across his chest. The chamber lights flickered, screens glitched, soldiers stepped back, hands moving to their weapons. Eren raised his hands quickly. I can control it, he said. Just give me time. But Earth had no time. A loud alarm rang through the entire station. A message flashed across every screen. Warning, Dravik fleet detected. Mara rushed to the windows. Hundreds of red ships were emerging from hyperspace. Commander Vorsk's massive warcruiser stood in the center like a burning star. Earth was moments away from invasion. Mara turned to Erin. "We need you," she said. "Whatever power you carry, use it." Erin looked at the approaching enemy fleet. His heart burned with the memory of 10 million lost lives. His skin began to glow with Verith fire, and the station shook as the first Dravik weapons charged. Erin stepped forward. This time he whispered, "We fight back." The clash for Earth had begun. The Dravik fleet filled Earth's skies like a storm of burning stars. Thousands of enemy ships formed a wall of red metal, ready to strike. Commander Vorsk stood at the front of his warcruiser, smiling with cruel confidence. "Begin the attack," he ordered. "Earth will fall today." But inside Earth's orbital station, Erin Hale stood glowing like a star. Blue Verith energy wrapped around him in waves of light. Soldiers shielded their eyes from his brightness. Captain Mara Lynn stepped beside him. "Erin, can you control this?" she asked. He looked at his hands, trembling but determined. "I don't have a choice," he replied. "If we lose today, humanity ends." The first Dravok blast fired toward Earth, a massive beam of red destruction, the same weapon that had killed 10 million humans. Everyone on the station froze. Children on Earth watched the sky in terror. Soldiers clenched their fists. This was the moment the Dravik wanted to break humanity forever. But Erin stepped forward, his eyes turned bright blue. Verith, fire exploded from his body, in a single motion. He lifted his hand toward the sky. A shield of pure energy formed above Earth, like a glowing dome. The Dravik beam hit it, and shattered like glass. The galaxy stopped breathing. Commander Vorsk roared in disbelief. "No human can block our cleansing weapon," he shouted. Erin whispered, "I am not only human now." Mara gave the order. All ships returned fire. Human fighters launched from every city. They flew past Erin's shield, firing missiles and plasma blasts. For the first time in history, humanity pushed the Dravak back. But the enemy fleet was still massive, and Commander Vorsk prepared the final strike. "Target the planet directly," he growled. "Destroy everything." Erin felt the Verith voices inside him grow louder. "The time has come," they said. "Release the final flame." Erin hesitated. "What will happen to me?" he asked. "We cannot promise your survival." The voices answered gently. "But if you do not act, your species will die." Erin looked down at Earth, at the world that had given him life, at the people who were praying, fighting, crying, hoping. He made his choice. He rose into the air. Floating in a pillar of blue fire, the station trembled behind him. Mara watched with tears in her eyes. "Come back alive," she whispered. Erin shot into space. Faster than any ship, the Dravik fleet opened fire. But every blast bent around him like water around a stone. He reached the center of the enemy armada. Commander Vorsk stared at him in horror. "What are you?" he screamed. Erin replied, "I am the answer to your cruelty." He placed both hands forward. The Verith flame surged out of him. A massive wave of blue energy exploded like a newborn star. It spread across the entire battlefield, passing through human ships harmlessly. But Dravik ships burned on contact. One by one, they dissolved into dust. Their weapons melted. Their engines crumbled. Their shields turned to smoke. Vorsk's warcruiser tried to escape, but the blue wave reached it too. His final scream echoed as his ship vanished into light. And then the sky went silent. The Dravik fleet was gone. Every last ship erased. Earth had one. But Erin was falling, his body fading, his light dimming. Mara flew a fighter out of the station, speeding toward him.